Good morning to A. How are you today? Today we'll complete our Unit 7 in Connected Plus, lessons 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So let's start. Now open your student book, page 6. Let's look at maps. As we see here, we have a map, Egypt's map, and we will know or identify the different places in Egypt. We have here two seas, the Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea. And we have the four directions, which are north, south, east, and west. Okay, exercise 1, look, listen, and read. So please listen carefully while I'm reading. There are lots of different places in Egypt. There are deserts and mountains. There are oases in the desert and farmland around the river Nile. There are beaches and lakes. Egypt is next to the sea too. It has the Mediterranean Sea in the north and the Red Sea in the east. There are also very old cities, pyramids, and temples. So, as you listened, we have different places in Egypt. We have oasis, again, oasis, and its plural is oases. Number 2, mountains, mountains. 3, river, river. 4, pyramids, pyramids. 5, lake, lake. 6, desert, desert. 7, we have the four directions, north, south, east, west. 8, temples, temples. 9, city, city. Or you can say city. And the last place we have is sea, sea. So these are the different places in Egypt. Here we have the difference between there is and there are. Look at sentence number 1. There is a lake. There is a lake. Number 2, there are lakes. There are lakes. Look at number 1. How many lakes we have? Yes, we have one lake, a lake. So I used there is. Again, we use there is with the singular noun. There is a lake. But number 2, how many lakes we have? We have 2 lakes. It's a plural. Lakes ends with S. So we use there are. We use there are with plural nouns. Number 3, what is it? Yes, it's a temple. How many temples we have? We have one temple. So I use there is. There is a temple. What about number 4? Yes, we have 2 temples. Temples. And with the plural s. So we use there are. There are temples. Now let's move again to our student book, page 7, exercise 1, write the places on the map. Again, we have here Egypt's map, and we have to put or to write the places on the map. Okay, number one, we have mountain. Mountain. Number two, oasis. Oasis. 3, lake. Lake. 4, river Nile. River Nile. 5, Mediterranean Sea. Mediterranean Sea. 6, Red Sea. Red Sea. Turn over the page. We are on page 8. Exercise 1. Listen and read. Here we'll talk about or we'll read about specific places in Egypt. Look at number 1. Here we have the Nile Delta. The Nile Delta is an area in Egypt with lots of farmland. A delta is a place where the river enters the sea. This makes the land good for farming. Farmers grow rice, cotton, and wheat. So the first place we have here, the Nile Delta. A delta is a place where the river enters the sea. So we have here a farmland in this place. Actually, we have lots of farmland. Okay, and this farmland is very good for farming. Farmers there grow rice, cotton, and wheat. So this is the first place, which is the Nile Delta. Number 2, we have the desert. The desert is hot and empty. There are sand dunes. There are some animals, but not a lot of plants. An oasis is a place in a desert where there is water. There are also trees and plants. People can use the water to grow dates, olives, figs, and grapes. They can keep farm animals too. The second place we have here, the desert. The desert is hot and empty. Empty means there's nothing there. Then we have only sand dunes, some animals, but not a lot of plants. There is a specific place in the desert which is amazing. We call it oasis. Oasis, and its plural is oases. I turns into E. Oases. Okay. What is oasis? What we mean with it? An oasis is a place in the desert where there is water. There are also trees and plants. So, in oasis, we can find water, trees, and plants. People there can use the water to grow dates, olives, figs, and grapes. So we can plant dates, olives, figs, and grapes in oases. They can also keep farm animals too, like goats, sheep, whatever. Now we are on page 9, number 3, the third place, the Sinai Peninsula. The Sinai Peninsula is an area of land with water around most of it. It has the Mediterranean Sea in the north and the Red Sea in the south. The Sinai mountain range is very famous. There are mountains in the desert too. People visit the Red Sea Mountains to walk and learn about Bedouin culture. The mountains are beautiful and the rocks look red. So the third place we have here is the Sinai Peninsula, which is an area of land with water around most of it. It has the two seas, the Mediterranean Sea in the north and the Red Sea in the south. It has also the mountain or the Sinai mountain range. We mean with mountain range a group of mountains. The Sinai mountain range is very famous. People can visit the Red Sea mountains to walk and learn about Bedouin culture. People who live there, we call them Bedouins. Tourists can visit and learn about the Bedouin culture. They can learn about how they live, or actually how Bedouins live, what they eat, what they drink, what music they listen. All of these we call them Bedouin culture. Finally, we have here the mountains or the Sinai mountains are beautiful and the rocks of these mountains look red. The fourth place we have is the High Dam. The High Dam is very big. It is about 48 years old. People built it to control the Nile River. They also use it to make electricity. It's very important. So the fourth place is the High Dam. How old is it? It's about 48 years old. We built it to control the river Nile and also to make electricity. So it's very important. Now repeat after me. The Nile Delta, farmland, rice, cotton, wheat, empty, silent P, empty, sand dunes, olives, figs, mountain range, Bedouin culture, the High Dam, and the last word we have is electricity. Look again at your book, page 9, exercise 2. Read again, complete the sentences. We have mountain range, peninsula, grow, delta, dam, farmland, oasis, and keep. Number 1, a delta is a place where the river enters the sea. Number 2, there's a lot of in the Nile Delta. Yes, there is a lot of farmland, which are good for farming. Number 3, an is a place in the desert with water. Yes, an oasis. Number 4, people can plants and animals at an oasis. People can grow plants and keep animals. 5, a is land with water around it. A peninsula. 6, a is an area with lots of mountains, a group of mountains. Yes, a mountain range is an area with lots of mountains. 7. A controls water in a river. A dam. A dam controls water in a river. Okay. Turn over the page. We are on page 10, which is talking about the weather. Exercise 1. Look and write, listen and check. We have here sunny, windy, snowing, foggy, rainy, thunder and lightning, drought, and humid. Look at picture number 1. What's the weather like? Yes, it's foggy. What about number 2? It's rainy. Number 3, what's the weather like? Yes, we have here thunder and lightning. Number 4, drought. Drought. 5, windy. Windy. 6, what's the weather like? Yes, it's hot. 7, snowing. 8, humid. Here we will learn how to ask about the weather. When we ask about the weather in the present, we ask with, what is the weather like today? What is the weather like today? Yes, it is sunny. But I want to ask about the weather, but in the past, I use the question, what was the weather like yesterday? Again, what was the weather like yesterday? It was foggy. So, what is the weather like today in the present? But what was the weather like yesterday? It's in the past. Now we are on the last page for today, which is page 11, which is talking about temperature. Exercise 1. Look, listen, and point. We have here 4 different temperatures. Number 1, hot, between 25 or from 25 to 40 degrees. Number 2, we have cool, from 5 to 15 degrees. Warm, from 15 to 25. And cold, from 0 to 5. So these are the 4 temperatures we have: hot, cool, warm, and cold. Exercise 2. Ask and answer with a friend. We have here 2 friends. They are talking together about the weather. The boy says, "It's winter in Egypt. What's the weather like in Aswan?" The girl answers, "It's warm." How does she know? If we see here, we have the 4 cities. We have Aswan, Port Said, Cairo, and Hurghada. In Aswan, the temperature is 22. So Aswan is warm. What about Port Said? What's the weather like in Port Said? We have here 15. So it's warm again. Or we can say it's cool. The 3rd city we have is Cairo. What's the weather like in Cairo? If we look at the temperature, we have here 13. So it's cool in Cairo. The last city we have is Hurghada. What's the weather like in Hurghada? We have here 18 degrees, so it's warm in Hurghada. Exercise 3. Listen and read. So please listen carefully to me while I'm reading. Warm weather is good for farming. We need sun and rain to grow plants. When there is no water and the weather is too hot, we can't grow plants. In the Nile Delta, it's partially sunny and partially rainy. We can grow different kinds of crops. So again, he tells us that the warm weather is very good for farming because we need both sun and rain to grow plants. When there is no water and it's too hot, we can't grow plants in this weather. In Nile Delta, we have partially sunny and partially rainy weather, so we can grow there different kinds of crops. Finally, this is the end of our video for today. I want you to answer the questions in your activity books, pages 8, 9, and 10. They are homework. See you next video and have a nice day. Bye.